What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Main Stand, episode 29. As always, I'm Pat, joined by Josh and Mitch.
What it do, baby?
Fellas, it's only Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
It's been a long 3 days.
Yeah, for real. Um, MLS kicked off over the weekend. That's definitely something we're going to get to chat about. But before we talk footy, how is everybody? How are we feeling on this lovely evening?
Feeling a little stressed just from the work week, but we're living, we're thriving, and it's nice to look forward to a nice weekend of soccer. Going to Minneapolis to watch Liverpool at the Liverpool supporter bar, and then heading right to the Allianz for kickoff versus Nashville. So Saturday's going to be a movie.
Hell yeah, that's so sick. You're going to be boozed up. I cannot wait.
Pat, because I'm still on antibiotics. My wisdom teeth just do not want to heal.
Yeah, Mitch is down horrendously. Josh has had a stressful week, and I didn't shower today, so.
Boy, I can smell you from here.
You're only down the road, so that's fine.
That's what the main stand's all about. We might not be a logistics company, but no one releases content like these boys.
Absolutely. You guys just want to tuck right into the footy. We can start with the MLS.
Both draws. I mean, we both got it. You had the harder game probably against Portland. We played Philly, which two tough teams, but both came out with 1 point, which is fine for opening weekend.
Yeah, I'll definitely take that away from home at a really, really tough stadium. The fucking goal of the week got scored against the Revolution.
Very insane. Early contender for goal of the season.
Unbelievable bike.
The Revs looked okay. Liggett getting the scoring started for the Revs on the season. A new signing in the midfield. Jones looked great in the left back position. I'm confident with the side. I think it's just early on in the season. I think having those games against Cavalli getting canceled did kind of take a hit. Having that preseason run against competition and something that mattered taken away from them, and having to kind of play some closed door matches against teams that aren't really up to their pace didn't really pay off for us. But the Revs are at home this weekend against FC Dallas. 12:30 kickoff, so it's an early game this weekend. Pat and I will be there with a group of 12. I'll be babysitting him and cooking the food for the group. Because
what are you cooking at an MLS tailgate, Mitch? Give us a rundown of what you're cooking.
So we have some people bringing some hot dogs and burgers. I don't go that route when I tailgate. I'm gonna do the same thing I do for Patriots tailgates. I'm gonna do my world famous steak tips, and I'm gonna do some buffalo chicken dip. I'm gonna make that and use the grill to warm it up. Those are my two kind of top dishes that I bring to the tailgate. We're gonna have cornhole. We're gonna have a footy to kick around, and we'll be having a good time.
Is there anyone that ever brings like a console to a tailgate so you can just hit the FIFA links?
I feel like that would take so much setup. You need a TV. You need like a generator to get everything powered. You don't need a
generator. I could run a TV and a PlayStation off of a Milwaukee like portable battery, easy.
That's so wild to me.
They have 2 outlets on them too. I could do it, but I don't feel like bringing a TV with me.
My PlayStation's not leaving my house.
Yeah,
so
that's not happening. We only got a couple hours because at Gillette the parking lot's only open 2.5, 3 hours before kickoff. So we're gonna have to get down there for like 10 a.m. to really experience anything. So we're gonna be leaving Maine around 6 or 7 Saturday morning. It's an early weekend for the boys.
I can't wait. I'm thrilled.
I'm excited. I really am thrilled to go down and watch some live football. It's different.
I'm so excited for the Instagram content to come out on our page Saturday. I'm going to be leaving the house early too, probably like 8 o'clock to get to Minneapolis. Like I said, watching the game at the supporter bar, and it's Liverpool West Ham, so it's going to be probably a cracking game. Probably fans there from both sides. and the forecast for the Allianz is a little bit better than Honduras, but I think we're supposed to get 1 to 5 inches during the game. So it's going to be awesome snow-covered pitch. I'm looking forward to mine as well. We're going to have a time, boys.
Yeah, we got. I think we're like a high of 40 on Saturday in Foxborough, so it'll be chilly. But I don't think we have any precipitation. But I'm just the Fiorentina forecaster. I don't talk much about.
We're gonna go brand new Revolution jersey over a hoodie with a beanie, some nice pants, and some wool socks, and I'm gonna be hammered.
Wow,
Go
Pat just
Rebs.
jacked my swag because I already have my outfit planned out.
Well, that makes 2 of us.
I'm rocking the night kit, baby.
Mitch,
I
you
am
think we're
so
winning?
in love with this.
Yeah, I think the Revolution have some nice kits this year too. I'm excited to get my hands on one. Mitch, you think we winning? I mean, we beating Dallas on Saturday.
Think so. It was a convincing draw for us on the weekend. I think the boys will have some good come their way at home. I think we see a little bit more out of Josie Altidore. I think he looked solid in the short amount of time that he got on the pitch. So I'm just all in all excited to see what Bruce does with this team this year.
I agree. Josh, how you feeling about Minnesota going into the weekend?
Like I said, it was a tough game this past weekend. Philly isn't an easy team. I mean, they showed that resilience with their young squad in the final, kind of late playoffs last year when they lost everyone to COVID. We put in a good showing. Robin Lod scored a good goal. He just keeps his scoring form on from last year. Really excited to just watch that front four continue. Front four of we got a new guy. I think his last name's Arriaga. Used to be at Minnesota, right when they were starting. Didn't work out. Now he's back, so it'll be him and Adrian Hanu up top as the striker, with Reynoso kind of in the 10, Robin Lod and Franco Fragapane out on the wings. Really exciting attack. The problem with Minnesota is just getting overrun in the midfield, and our defense just a little slow. But I'm going in hopeful. Nashville's not that good either. Their best player is definitely Thor. So we'll go into it. I think we'll get 3 points, so especially at home at the Allianz. I'm hearing there's tifos for the game, which is going to be sick. So I think the Wonderwall will be hype, full capacity. I'm pretty pumped.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to both of our teams this weekend here. So stay tuned to the Instagram for the live feed of the 2 of us. Other housekeeping things before we get into previews for the upcoming weekend. I'm going to talk plenty in 10-15 minutes. So before I do that, Mitchell and Josh, you guys want to talk about winning the Soda Cup for a little bit?
1 kiss is all it takes.
I think this is the only time I've enjoyed this song is when it plays post game. No, I think Josh and I kind of nailed it last week with who we were gonna see. Unfortunately, pregame Thiago having some muscle tightness in the legs, so he was scratched right before kickoff. We saw Harvey Elliott get in there, and we saw a absolute barn burner of a Soda Cup final.
Yeah, that was actually one of the best 0-0s I have ever seen. I'm going to be totally honest.
The only thing that rivals it is the City Liverpool game earlier this year. Just the 120 minutes of pure football, back and forth football. It was so good. There were so many iconic moments that came out of this game. It's kind of hard to name all of them. The one that obviously everybody's talking about is 119 minutes in, Kepa on, Mendy off.
Yeah. I think we need to can you guys still hear me okay?
Yep.
Perfect. Yep. Let's digress a little bit and get back to the beginning of the game because I do feel like there's so much to talk about here.
There is.
For Chelsea, the first one I want to talk about is actually Mason Mount. A lot of blame is going on Kepa. Mason Mount missed 2 absolute sitters. in front of net, and I think he needs more of a look. Pulisic missed a sitter as well. So I think without putting all the blame on Kepa, Chelsea had plenty of chances to win it.
Right.
So did Liverpool. It was a cracking game. And I know it's a Soda Cup final. Say what you want about it. At the end of the day, it meant something because of how it played out. It felt like a Champions League final. When you have 85,000 people inside Wembley competing for a trophy, it's going to feel that way come the end of 120 minutes, which it just gives us some significance to the match, you know?
I think the other big thing that we should look at is the amount of offsides that were called. Um, Chelsea just could not stay onside, and Liverpool held that line the best I've seen it in the last 5 years. That the way they positioned themselves all game, they did it so consistently. They never let up, and it paid off. Um, we've seen it bite us in the ass a lot, but it paid off in this game.
The Lukaku one was really, really, really close.
That was very close. The shirt sleeve is tough because he's literally pointing to where he wants the ball. Virgil, I honestly think that's a goal. I think that's way too nitpicky to call that offside because Virgil's leg was like ahead of Lukaku, but the shirt sleeve is what we're calling now. It's so nitpicky. I do feel for Chelsea on that one. But when it comes down to it, they the other 15 chances before that, they could have stayed on side. They could have netted those sitters, and it didn't happen. It's just the way the ball kind of fell that day.
Yeah, and I almost think that might have been a little bit of a makeup call for. I don't think Joel Matip's goal should have been
No.
disallowed. I think that was surely a goal, and I think the Lukaku one, going off, I think was fair. We both, lost out on a good goal, and then you went on. Liverpool wins the match. But yeah, I want Pat's take a little bit on this about the whole Mendy situation, because Mendy just stood on his head. Arguably the man of the match, I would say, for both teams. He just made some stunning saves, especially that Virgil header at the end where he just dives across the goal line, and the Mane double save at the beginning of the game. Is it worth putting on a pen specialist that hasn't touched the ball?
I don't think so. I think you keep Mendy on for that. I was pretty surprised to see him sub Mendy off like that. Even if it did pay off, I would still be saying the same thing. It's just odd to me. And I mean, I think you look at it. The last time Kepa was on in a cup final was the Carabao Cup final versus City a couple of years ago, and instead of being brought on, he refuses to come off. Doesn't save a single penalty, and City go on to win that game on penalties too. I think bringing Kepa on was a really, really weird decision. I think Mendy was feeling himself that whole game. He had that insane double save he made in the first half. I think a player who's that hot and is saving the way he is saving and is playing the way he's playing in net. There's no size difference. It's not like Kepa's 6'10" and he covers more of the goal. Yeah, I don't agree with that decision to bring him off. But at the same time, if he had done that and Kepa saves a penalty and you guys lose and Chelsea go on to win that, we're praising Tuchel as a tactical genius. It was just a decision that didn't come off at the end of the day. So, I mean, it is what it is. I think you can say it what you want about Kepa. I think it's more shitty that he didn't save a penalty rather than he missed it. I think that's the big thing to point out too. Good on Kelleher. Good on Kelleher for scoring his pen. It's not an easy thing to do. Not everyone can be Joe Hart and be great at scoring penalties as a goalie. But great. He scored his. It was a really calm and composed finish. Good for the guy. I think if anybody is slating Kepa for missing his pen, you're coming at him for the wrong thing. You should be talking about the 11 penalties he failed to save, not the one he failed to score.
Do you think he was being a little weird in net with the mind games? We saw him go near post with the Virgil one, and just Virgil.
Yeah,
that was the iciest penalty.
That was funny, and he stared him down after he scored it too.
Puts it near post, like on the side with less room, and Kepa was just, I feel like, trying to do too much, and he looked a little bit silly. Especially, it's like when you're gonna play that game and you can't even cover the near side. You look like a dickhead.
He didn't even. I think it's just speaks. He didn't even save a penalty. Didn't save one penalty. And I think that's really all you need to say.
Neither did Kelleher. But
Kepa was brought on as a penalty specialist, and he's a senior keeper. He's not a young, like, up and coming guy.
But I think I'm not more arsed about the stuff he was doing on the line. I was more upset with the amount of times Kepa was spoken to for coming out, standing on the spot and waiting. And I think Kelleher did a very veteran thing, and that's taking care of the ball, waiting till the player was ready, and giving it to who our next penalty taker was. I think that was a very pivotal thing that not a lot of people are looking at and saying, okay, that is decisive in these moments. Because if Kepa's coming out, fucking with the spot, trying to play those mind games up on our players, Kelleher takes a lot of that out by holding onto the ball and waiting until Kepa's moved back to the line. And I think that took a lot of pressure off of our penalty takers throughout.
Even when he buries the penalty, he just runs past Kepa and gets right in position. I think that comes right from learning from Allison. Now Claudio Taffarel as one of the coaches as well. You have class in there. He's not going to fuck around in goal on a penalty shootout.
And Adrian, a veteran keeper in big moments. I think Kelleher deserved every bit of praise that he got. He played an unbelievable game. He himself had a few very big saves. Obviously caught out of position on 3 or 4 of them, and then saved by the offsides throughout the game. But the way a young keeper is able to stay composed and ultimately have the winning penalty, which we don't see very often, is something really cool to see. And I think it boosts Liverpool more than people think. It's a huge leg up for the confidence, the state of the squad, and just the depth overall moving forward, attacking the rest of the trophies we're after the rest of the season.
And not to like dwindle on this subject for too long, but I think a big portion of that too is like not getting that parade or celebration that was promised with the Premier League. This was like the first time since the pandemic where the fans really got to celebrate that, and I think winning any trophy was going to be sort of a release for our fans, and it 100% was. Just the scenes at the end of that game. My favorite part of the match, honestly, was when they were lifting the trophy and that little Scouse lad just gets in the line. Allison brings him up. Jurgen has no idea who it is. I think he tries to get Jurgen's hat, and Jurgen tells him no. But Jurgen lets him lift the trophy, and it's just like, I don't know. It made me I was buzzing for like 3 hours, just like consuming all the videos I could. It was just like unbelievable. It felt like a big trophy.
It really did. I think the quality of the play is really what brought it to that level. Like, obviously people joke about it, but at the end of the day, when players from both sides are putting their bodies on the line for 120 minutes and putting on a show like that, it means more than we give it credit.
Yep, 100%.
I'll remember that.
Yeah,
I'll remember that.
No, Pat,
I like that you guys are saying this now after City winning 4 times in a row, but it matters when Liverpool win it. It matters when Liverpool win.
Some of those League Cup games did suck, though. Like, there was like 5-0 one.
It's fine. That was the FA Cup, not the League Cup.
My bad. Was that Watford?
That was Watford in the FA Cup final.
But hey, we also have 9 now. We also have 9 now. We are at the top of that.
Is it doesn't matter when City win it 4 times in a row. But
I never said that.
When Liverpool win it once, we're talking about how prestigious it is and how important of a trophy it is. That's all I'm saying.
No,
that's all I'm saying.
That's not what I'm saying in this aspect. I'm saying that having a trophy at this point in the season for this Liverpool side, after what we've gone through for the last few years, it means more to us right now than I think people give it credit for. I think it is the Carabao Cup. People give it all the shit that they want to. It's the soda cup. Whatever. It's still a piece of silverware at the end of the day. It still counts, and both teams fought like it was a Champions League final. It was a cracking match.
Yeah, that Fabinho Panenka was silly too. That was nice. We can stop talking about Liverpool for Pat's sake and move on to the probably the biggest subject, I would say, maybe in the past year in terms of significance going forward. Besides the Super League, and it's Roman Abramovich not only leaving Chelsea and giving, stewardship over to the Chelsea Foundation, but his intentions to sell the team very soon.
I think it's good for Chelsea. At the end of the day, I think ultimately it will be a good move if they bring in the right ownership group. I think just with where they are as a club, they've made a good foundation. But I think with all of the uncertainty, all of the BS going on outside of the game, I think at the end of the day, it's good to just let it be, like move on from it, and let somebody else step up to run the club from the business end.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there, Mitch. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because this could shake Chelsea for the long run. It'd be one thing if which I have a question later about the Newcastle owners. If it was the Newcastle owners and they had a boatload of money, whatever, that's one thing. We don't necessarily know who is going to buy Chelsea and how they plan on managing it. Roman won a trophy every season, a major trophy every season on average. So it's hard to really predict where this puts Chelsea moving forward. And I'm sure there's a lot of uncertainty in the club, from their everyday employees to Thomas Tuchel to all of the players. It really does shake Chelsea to its core. And I think some of the players looked a little bit bothered tonight against Luton Town. We'll see how it impacts them moving forward.
I think the timing just sucks. The timing sucks, but
the timing rocks because it was important for Roman to get the fuck out because of what's going on in the world right now.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels very political to me. But it feels very political to me. Roman leaving the club, and we've mentioned this before. We don't talk about geopolitical issues here on the podcast. We're not experts on anything. But it feels like Roman is. I mean, there was that whole thing that came out, right, that he wasn't like allowed in Britain, like, ever.
Yeah.
After, or not, maybe not ever. Like I mentioned, we don't fucking know everything here. But after the stuff going on with Ukraine, Roman Abramovich wasn't going to be allowed, here not here. I'm in a fucking Maine, in England, ever. And then with all of the stuff going around the world with like Russian, fucking EA put out a thing today saying that they're taking all of the Russian players, or not players, but the Russian clubs out of FIFA today. And, small things like that. And it feels like it's at this boiling point where Roman is just trying to distance himself from, everything being Russian. And, someone will correct me if I'm wrong here, but I thought I read somewhere that he did have some, relationship with Putin. And I think that does play a part into his decision to step away from Chelsea and take the limelight, the spotlight, whatever you want to call it, take it off of him, give the club to someone else. And, just kind of had his fun with Chelsea. And, now he's done. There's a little too much heat on him, so to speak, at least is what it seems like. And he's just trying to lay low. And if this is him laying low by just kind of giving the club away, then that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, that's fair. Again, we're not geopolitical in any way, but to kind of shed a little bit of insight on his relationship with the big dogs in Russia, the whole talks with Ukraine and Russia, I believe Monday, the peace ceasefire talks, Roman Abramovich was at the table, a part of it. So to do that and also be the face of Chelsea is just very weird from all angles, and I think that's why there's a rush on this. I wouldn't surprise if something happens within the next week. My question to both of you, I guess, is if the Newcastle owners knew Chelsea was going to be for sale, because big clubs don't go for sale that often, should they have waited for Chelsea? What would have been the more attractive project? Because big clubs are a little bit harder to move. You're starting fresh with Newcastle, but Chelsea, you're already kind of built up. Which would have been the more attractive option for either of you?
I think buying the European champions is definitely a more attractive thing. I think that they can really do something with Newcastle, though. So I think they both kind of have their merit in buying them.
I think
Yeah.
I think ultimately as like a business decision, I think Newcastle still holds more water than Chelsea in this kind of hypothetical situation because there's less hands in the bucket, so to speak. They can go in and have that financial takeover and really do what they want, whereas Chelsea is a little bit more established. They are European champions, so like I don't think they'd have as much leeway to do the things that they want to do with their club. Um, at the end of the day, money does talk, so it's hard to say if they were to wait out and buy Chelsea, what would happen. But I think having Chelsea as an option, I still think they go with the Newcastle project. There's just more ceiling, less floor.
Yeah, you probably have more return on investment that way. With the Newcastle owners, I guess they're not really in it for the money, are they? I mean, it's they're already, 100 billionaires, so it seems almost more like a FIFA project to them. Which Chelsea, it's kind of like, starting in the Premier League, it's not really takes all the fun out of the game.
One of their kids was on Football Manager and was like,
yeah.
Okay, let's go to Newcastle."
Always good times. Any more thoughts on Roman before we move on?
Nah,
We'll
I'm
see how it
interested to
plays out.
see how it plays out. Yeah, exactly what Mitchell said.
Perfect. We'll turn things over to Mitchell. We'll do an early version of the Fiorentina forecast.
Okay.
Fiorentina just played in the Coppa Italia and lost on a late goal to Juve.
No, it wasn't a late goal to Juve. It was an own goal in the 91st minute, okay? Vlahovic had no impact on this game. I'm so arse that this is the image that you decided to go with. No, Fiorentina. So we're just gonna jump right into it. We don't need no intro music or nothing. Fiorentina losing 1-0 on an own goal late in the Coppa Italia. It's gut wrenching, but at the end of the day, it isn't the Serie A race. It has no impact on their position. And right now, the boys in purple are sitting in 8th with a game in hand and 2 points shy of 6th place. So we'll who do we got up next? Not a logistics company. I wasn't prepared. I was looking at it earlier. I think it's like Verona. Is it Verona? It is Verona. The boys are playing Verona this weekend. Heavily favored. Fiorentina's way here. Right now, Verona is sitting in ninth, 2 points behind Fiorentina. So it is a battle of eighth and ninth right here, but the statistics are favoring Fiorentina in this match. I'm assuming, not assuming, I'm predicting that they bounce back from their 2-1 loss to Sassuolo. Again, a tough match there, losing on a late goal, sitting on a red card. So it's been a rough week for the Violas, but I think they do bounce back against Verona here this weekend.
I love that you've just picked up a third club, like, in the midst of doing this podcast.
I ride by what I say. They are finishing 6th place this year.
I was actually kind of upset by the game because I actually put 2 bets down on the Coppa Italia. I had AC Milan and Inter under 2.5. That one finished 0-0. And I had a draw money line for this one, so that late goal kind of shattered that.
It was like 30 seconds left in
Yeah.
added time.
It's tough.
it was just a funky ball in through traffic. Hit. I forget even who it hit off of. I don't think it was Milinkovic, but went in off a defender. Almost saved it off the goal line, but didn't happen. And Vlahovic was in their pocket all day. So
he makes the
what more
graphic
can you
though.
ask for?
I guess we'll move things on to the games for this weekend. We'll touch on all the Prem ones after. Maybe give some quick predictions. This won't be final bets or anything. We'll release those probably this weekend. But Pat, why don't you take us away with the Manchester Derby? I'm going to take the piss here a little bit.
Josh is just taking the piss on both of us.
All right, so here's what my logical brain says about this, and then I'll give you what my Manchester City fan heart says about this game. My logical brain says Man United cannot score goals, cannot defend. They are shambolic. Ronaldo has been in and out of the goals the past few weeks. Bruno has looked pretty meh in big games. And United as a whole, the players look disinterested and they all just look like they cannot wait for this season to end. So City should win comfortably. We're at home. Should be no problem. Big game, big derby game. Players will feel up for it. A lot of pressure with Liverpool behind them. They're going to need to perform. That's what my head says. That's what my logical head says about how the Manchester Derby is going to go. Now, here's what the City fan in me says. United are absolutely going to turn up for this game for whatever fucking reason. They just are. Ole is no longer at the club, so the curse of Ole beating Pep every single time they fucking play is no more. So that's a good thing for us. The bad things for us are for whatever reason, the away team has been heavily favored in the Manchester Derby the past 3 or 4 years. So Bruno's going to score a hat trick. Ronaldo's going to score a hat trick. We're going to lose 7-0. Marcus Rashford's going to score a pen in the 94th minute. De Bruyne is going to get sent off. Ederson is going to get sent off, and there's going to be a fist fight in the locker room after. And that's the Manchester Derby. In all seriousness, though, I do think City are going to win this game. I think the logic will prevail over my heart at the end of the day. United just don't look particularly good or interested. And it absolutely looks like it's a players thing, and it feels like it's always been a players thing with that club recently. Hasn't really been a managerial thing. I think we gave Ole a lot of stick for underperforming, this, that, everything in between. Ralph has come in, absolutely nothing has changed. And at the end of the day, you can't coach Bruno and Ronaldo missing sitters in their most recent draw. You can't coach that. It's just a players thing. You can't coach work ethic. You can't coach guys looking like they want to be there. At the end of the day, that is a mentality thing. And I really do think that, despite Ole being a gym teacher and a shit manager, it's a players thing. There's a lot of things that need to change internally with United. And I don't think that this Sunday will be the day anything changes. I think City win.
I might do the thing. Is this another bogey game?
I think they win.
I got the first bogey game right. I have to do some more thinking. So Man City is the favorites. Their money line odds are minus 260. Man United's odds are plus 750. So they are the heavy underdogs. I don't know. Pat's completely right with everything he's saying. I totally think Man United are a shambles. I've made fun of them all year. I enjoy making fun of them and watching them lose and suffer. But this is the type of game that they would show up for. This
feels like a trap. This feels like the day I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong. It's not a bogey game like I was in the Tottenham game. This feels like a trap. This feels like Paul Pogba plays the only good game of the season.
I think you missed a key fact in your assessment, Patrick, that also kind of stacks the cards for United in this one. It's that City have lost 2 out of their 3 games this season at home, which kind of adds to that that kind of lingering feeling of could this be the day that United turn it on? And as Liverpool fans, of course we fucking hate United as well. Like the only things we tend to agree on is we hate each other and we hate United. And I it does feel like that bogey game is coming again. And I think, we'll just have to wait and see on this one because I don't want to say too much to incriminate myself and make Pat hate me because I have to listen to him for 6.5 hours in the car on Saturday. So I'm just gonna sit back and say this is gonna be a 2-1 City win.
I think if Guardiola gets the lineup right, there's not much of a problem. And I think if the players are up for it, there's not much of a problem. Obviously, it's a derby. Anything can happen. So I'm going to ride for my guys and say City are going to win this game. But I won't be surprised if I'm sitting on this podcast next week extremely depressed because Liverpool just, took the lead at the top of the table.
And we made it 35 minutes into this podcast, and we haven't brought this up yet, Pat, and we almost let you get away with it by the skin of your teeth. But I think now is your time to take the stand on this Rodri handball situation. Did you steal 2 points from Everton or 1 point from Everton?
Okay, so two things. One, definitely a handball. Not going to deny that. But we were drawing 2-2 with Tottenham a week ago off a penalty in the 92nd minute, and then we lost in the 95th. So I get it. Everton should have had a penalty. They absolutely should have been able to take this hypothetical penalty and have this hypothetical chance to score this hypothetical goal to give them a hypothetical 1 point. But that didn't happen. And we can see that anything can happen in the game of football, i.e., City losing in the 95th minute after equalizing in the 92nd. So yes, Everton absolutely should have had a penalty, and they should have had the opportunity to equalize the game. But I don't think we just blatantly stole a point from them. We stole a goal-scoring opportunity from them, sure. I'll give them that. We stole a penalty. They should have had that chance. It was a pen. And if you guys get away with that, I am on the podcast the next week imploding because that's a penalty. But it wasn't called. And if Richarlison was offsides in the build-up, then there shouldn't have been a penalty in the first place because there was an offsides before that.
That was such a mess, honestly. I was fine. If it was offsides, it's like, okay, whatever. Nothing to really bitch and moan about. But the fact there was like a disagreement between the Premier League and the referee, and Chris Kavanagh was on VAR, which is all you really need to know.
Yeah. Also, them apologizing, them calling Everton and apologizing is the biggest crock of shit I have ever heard in my fucking entire life. Like, get over it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Kavanaugh and Tierney really do need to be held accountable for what they did in that situation. It was piss poor to not even go look at it in the first place. And the lack of communication and the inconsistency from the league and its officials is just disgusting. We're seeing it time and time again, and it's not getting better. The officials are being hidden from these piss poor decisions, and it's adding to bullshit. It's just creating more like poor products, poor outcomes, and bad taste in both the players and fans' mouths. And like, who answers for it? Nobody. Nobody has to answer for it. We just all move on and forget it ever fucking happened. And it's getting tiring. Like, I don't think Everton hold on to keep that point at that point. Like, City obviously had all the momentum. It's just frustrating to have these continued decisions or inconsistency in a flag or an official going over to check the VAR. Why is it so different than every other major sporting event where officials are mic'd up? Officials have transparency. We hear the calls from the officials' mouths. Why is that not a thing at this point?
Yeah,
and that's really all I have to say for it.
Spot on, Mitch.
Yeah, I agree.
spot on. I think they do have to be held accountable, and it was just shocking. Paul Tierney's just had a shocking year, and if he doesn't get some sort of look from the Premier League after this year, it's just that would be a disgrace. I think the next thing that they really have to do is interviews after the match. They make coaches and players do them, make the officials do them as well. It's just shocking at the end of the day, and Lampard has a 100% right to be mad because he's in a relegation battle. His results are ultimately going to be determined in the next 2 to 3 months. So 2 points in a game he could have, got a point from against Man City, a really big side, when it matters, he's going to be pissed off.
Those 2 points would put them even with Brentford at fifth. An extra point would put them even with Leeds with 23, and they have 2 games in hand on Leeds and 3 on Brentford. These decisions do matter. And honestly, it feels like my hot take of Everton getting relegated is getting closer to coming true. They're a point out of the relegation zone. Their last 5 matches, Chelsea, Liverpool, Leicester, Brentford, Arsenal. Their last 5 matches of the season. They also have to face Tottenham this weekend. They have to face West Ham, Newcastle, Watford, and United. Like, these are big, big games for Everton. And we may not see them in the Premier League next year because of small decisions like this that take place throughout the season. Obviously, Rafa ran through that club, and sitting on 22 points at this point shouldn't be where they are, but it is, and they have to get results to make sure that they stay up. And little decisions like this that nobody has to answer to, it makes a difference.
They could kiss goodbye to Bramley Moore Dock if that happens. I would fucking laugh about it too. My only other thing, you brought up Leeds. What did you guys think of Marcelo Bielsa getting fired? Jesse Marsch in at Leeds. Shocking news just because of Bielsa's transformation of that club in the past 4 years.
I am now officially rooting for Leeds because they have an American coach.
Yeah,
I think it's harsh.
I agree.
Bielsa cemented himself in the Leeds lore for what he's done to transform this club, bring them back up to the top flight, and then they just show him the door like that. I think it was rushed. I think it was harsh. I think if they were going to make a decision like that, it's just best to wait till the end of the season. Now you're leaving the club, albeit in good hands. Jesse Marsch is a phenomenal manager, but I think it just adds a little bit of uncertainty with 12 games left on the year. Like, okay, let's transform this and stay up at this point.
Yeah, it's an odd one. I could have saw them going for a more temporary solution like an Allardyce or something like that just to hold over and then get Marsch. It's a weird time to appoint a transformational guy like that. You know what I mean?
It's a little late.
Yeah.
So it's a little late in the season. So we'll see how it goes. But if Marsch is the ticket and he somehow holds Leeds up over Everton, it's gonna be a topic all summer.
Yeah, for sure. We'll run through some Premier League games just really quick. You guys can give your favorite maybe.
Yep.
First one, Saturday morning, Leicester versus Leeds. Speaking of managers on their hot seats, Brendan Rodgers needs to win this one.
Yeah, I think he does. Especially with just everything that's happened at Leeds over the last week. I see Leicester getting 3 points in this matchup. Leeds have lost 4 out of their last 5, no wins. So it just seems like Leicester will have a little bit easier route to a win here.
Yeah, I think Leicester should definitely come away with the 3 points, but my heart says high scoring draw, so I'm going with that.
I was going to say draw as well. Again, picks will be out late. Official picks will be out this weekend. Burnley Chelsea. That's a tough one for the Chelsea coming off of a hard fought win against Luton and that news about Roman. I think Chelsea will win this one, but I don't think it'll be easy. At Turf Moor as well.
Yeah, I think Chelsea win this game, but it's not an easy one. Maybe 1-0. I don't know. Burnley fucking suck. That's the thing. They're so fucking bad.
Wow, Weghorst has done pretty well since he's been coming in, though.
Yeah, but that's one player. Their team is terrible.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Losing Chris Wood hurt them.
Meow.
Wolves Crystal Palace. That's an interesting one. I think Wolves will probably see that one out.
Who's the home team?
Wolves at the Molineux.
I like Palace. Palace here.
Palace are the big underdogs.
Palace are kind of hot, and if correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't Palace all right away from home this year?
They are.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like Palace. I like Palace in this one.
I'm gonna say 2-2 draw. I think Wolves take the early lead, but fail to hold on for the 3 points.
That's far too safe, Mitchell. You're a coward.
That Wolves defense is just so good, man. We don't have to touch on this too much, but we talked about Aït-Nouri and Jose Sa and net too. There's just standout players in that team, and they're one to watch for next year if they get a couple additions in the summer. Villa Southampton is next. That's at Villa Park. That could be a pretty fun one, honestly. Two teams that aren't kind of in the middle of the pack. Jared's trying to rebuild that form he had when he first got in. I'd probably go Villa.
I don't know about
yeah. Yeah, I'm with Mitch. I'm not 100% sure about this one either.
Southampton has been pretty
Villa.
Good.
I want to say Villa, but Southampton are doing everything in their power to make me as wrong as humanly possible for saying they're getting relegated. They are sitting in 9th. They're doing a little bit better than Villa on the season. Form, they're even-ish. They look about the same when you look at the form guide. I'm gonna go draw. I like 1-1 draw here.
It's a fair shout.
I like draw.
I'm taking Southampton in this one. Villa are winless in their last 6 league games at home or against Southampton. 2 draws and 4 losses, and they've lost 3 in a row, conceding 11 goals. I don't think Villa find their footing here. I think Southampton, they're unbeaten in their last 5 Premier League games. I just think they take their hot streak through Villa here.
Yep.
I'm going to say 2-1.
It's a good shout as well. Newcastle versus Brighton at St. James. I'll go Newcastle. We talked about Newcastle this past weekend. I think they're unbeaten in 6 now. They're on a great run of form.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Norwich Brentford is the next one. Norwich are they're awful, man.
Yeah, but Brentford are in pretty bad form right now too, aren't they? And Norwich are trying to play.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Brentford have taken a nosedive in the middle of the season, but that first half today against Liverpool, Norwich were fucking bad.
There's just
that's fucking Liverpool. What do you want them to do? It's Liverpool.
No, but it wasn't like.
Here's the context for you. Josh Sargent came on and was Norwich's best player today. Like, Norwich, just no drive, no vision. They started putting the pieces together around the 70-minute mark. It's just Norwich aren't playing a lick of inspired ball right now. And I think Brentford are able to come in and take advantage of Norwich and gain some form back here. I don't see how Norwich can put together a win, especially after today's performance.
Yeah, it's fair. Liverpool West Ham at Anfield. I think this one, the reverse fixture was obviously the 3-2 game at the London Stadium. West Ham won that one. Liverpool will be without Thiago. I think Bobby still, but we got to rest most of our starters today. only starters that played in the midweek will be Hendo, Allison, and Jota. I think a well-rested Liverpool side will easily slide past West Ham, especially considering they're not in the best of form.
As much as I hate you, you're right.
Yeah, this is gonna be
easy. This is not the game where this is not the game where a Premier League team makes me feel more safe about the top of the table. You will be beating West Ham.
Watford versus Arsenal is next. This one's at Vicarage Road.
Arsenal. I think Arsenal are going to beat them.
Arsenal as well.
Of course, you're going to go Arsenal. Watford's a bad team. It's the only team you think they can beat.
That's fair.
This is actually a Gunners podcast now. 3 votes Arsenal.
We already talked about the derby, and Monday Night Football. Tottenham versus Everton. Tottenham are.
What are you guys predicting for the derby? Before if I'm right and City win, and somebody on this podcast is saying they're going to lose, I need that assurance for myself.
I said 2-1 City already, so I'm going to stick with it. I don't want that to be the result, but I'm going to stick with 2-1 City.
I'm going 1-1 draw. Low-key game. And then
low-key derby. Just slide that in. Yeah, let's move on.
It's the bogey derby.
The bogey derby. Yeah, Tottenham Everton Monday Night Football. This is like the two teams in utter shambles. I can't see Conte lasting much more at Spurs. Who'd they even lose to the other night?
Burnley?
No, they lost in the FA Cup to a really bad
Middlesbrough. They lost to Middlesbrough in the 107th minute.
We need to get Farwell back on the podcast immediately.
We need to make sure he's okay.
I sent him the scoreline. I just sent him the scoreline the other day. I wonder if the conversation is still there. Hold up.
I think Tottenham will beat Everton. Well, Pat's looking for that.
It's not. I just sent him the scoreline. He said, sounds like Spurs. I said, beat the champions twice in the same season. Lose to Middlesbrough. Just Tottenham things.
Yeah, it's a tough scene, man. Tough scene. I think they have enough to get by Everton, but
who fucking knows, dude?
Yeah, that's a tough one to call, honestly.
Want to know what the bigger tough thing is? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Pat.
I feel like Tottenham are dog shit, but Everton literally need points to get out of this potential relegation battle that they're in. I favor Everton a little bit. I think they're going to be fucking pissed after losing to City. And I think this will put Lampard's managerial mettle to the test, and I think he'll pass this singular test. I think Everton are going to win this one.
I hope the fuck they don't. You boys want to? We have so much football to look forward to in the next week. Do we want to tuck into some UCL?
Yeah, we have four games to retouch on.
Yep. Second legs, baby. Second legs. So we got Real Madrid, PSG. I think that's the first one. That's the one that everybody wants to talk about. Real Madrid 1-0.
They lost 1-0 to PSG.
Yeah, PSG. Mbappe scored. Yeah.
That was the prolific Mbappe goal.
Yes. So Mbappe puts them 1-0 up. In Paris, they're going back to the Bernabeu. No such thing as away goals. I like Madrid. I don't know what it is. I know I liked them in the last leg and they lost, but I'm saying I like them again. I think they get the job done at the Bernabeu. Ooh, but here's what's making me second guess that. The Bernabeu is Messi's second home.
Enough of that.
There's something about that stadium that makes that man play differently.
So is this the same thing as Ronaldo against Atletico that we're talking about? Is this the same comparison?
Yeah, but Messi's better than Ronaldo, so it's just different.
I agree with you.
Two league goals.
But Messi
he's a playmaker now.
Messi hasn't been Messi this year. It hasn't been the smooth transition that I think most people would have expected.
He's always going to be Messi to me. You can't chat like that, and I'm not going to hear any of it. He's always going to be Messi to me.
I do favor Madrid here. I say Madrid wins this 3-1.
I'm going back on it. I think PSG are getting through. I'm saying PSG.
I'm siding with Mitch here. This game has like Benzema brace written all over it.
Yeah, followed by a Messi hat trick.
No chance.
I like PSG. I like PSG in this one. I think Mbappe is going to put on a show at his new home, and I think Messi's going to enjoy himself at his second training ground. Mbappe gets a goal, Messi gets an assist, and it's a 1-1 draw. PSG go through 2-1 on our aggregate.
It's a good show. I mean, it's just a tough one to call. So close. Next one's Man City Sporting. These are also
one's really close too.
For some, enough
hey,
of that.
If City can score 5 on the road, Sporting can too. They can score 6. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. I think this one was done and dusted before halftime in the first leg. City are clear through on this one.
I think City start the B team and we win 2-1.
For some reason, they flip-flopped the match days, so now that these set of games are on Wednesday and the other ones are on Tuesday for some odd reason. But yeah, game's done and dusted. Nothing really in it.
Like I said, City start the B team. We win 2-1, go through 7-1 on aggregate. Really, really sorry, Portugal.
Me and Mitch's Liverpool. Wow, that was bad.
I am Josh and Liverpool's possession. Yes.
The whole headphone thing, hearing yourself talk, I can't do that. We're going in 2-0 up on Inter at Anfield. I don't see any way Liverpool doesn't advance here.
I think Inter have a lot of fight in them. I think it's going to be a close game, but I don't see them able to bounce back here. They had a lot of really good chances. I think the Anfield noise is going to help with that pressure early on that we saw in the first leg. I see Liverpool moving on. I'm gonna say 2-1 Liverpool in this game.
Inter stinks right now too. They have 2 wins in their last 7 in all competitions. They're just getting beat up by like Milan, like AC Milan, and we smacked AC Milan earlier in the year. I just don't see Inter didn't really scare me in that first game too much. Kind of a snatch and grab win. Jota with just 2 calm goals, and I see the same thing happening in this one.
Yeah, especially at Anfield. I favor you guys pretty heavily in this leg.
A European night knockout, no chance. Last one, Bayern.
Unless you're Atletico Madrid.
Fuck off. Bayern and Salzburg is the last one. That one's at 1-1 right now, but they have to go back to the Allianz in Munich.
I think Bayern do the job at home.
Yep, couldn't agree more with that. I think Salzburg, they got their point and their night of celebration of sticking with Bayern for one leg. It's not gonna stay consistent.
I think Bayern turn it on away from home not away from home, at home, and end up taking it comfortably 2-0 maybe.
Neuer back?
I don't believe so. No.
Ooh, maybe not then.
And Davies not back either. So
no.
Well, Davies is I think less of a blow than Neuer.
Right. But still, 2 big pieces of that Bayern side missing out. So Salzburg, I wouldn't count them out yet, but I do see Bayern moving on here.
Mm-hmm.
All good shouts, and we'll see what happens next week. Definitely cover it in next week's podcast. Do we have any other things to touch on, guys?
I have nothing to say aside from come on City.
Up the Revs. And the Reds.
Actually,
and the
fuck
Reds.
yeah. Up the Revs, fuck the Reds. Come on City, let's go New England.
Up the quadruple Reds. We're winning the quadruple.
First team to do it. It's happening. The confidence is high on the red side of Merseyside.
I thought about on the graphic today putting a Carabao Cup that's really small next to me and Mitchell, and we can have like a trophy graphic as the year goes on. We can have our little trophy cabinet.
I like it.
I'm okay with it as long as you stick to it when that's the only trophy you win this year.
We bring Faro on, and his is just empty for history.
Dust. It's cobwebs.
Just a little spider.
No, you give him the "We beat City twice in the season" trophy.
Oh yeah,
just make him a little circle pin like it's my first trip to Disney.
That's the podcast, guys. It's been a fun hour with you all. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like and share with all your friends. Any final words of wisdom, guys?
None whatsoever. I hope everybody has a blessed day.
Can't wait to be
as always
babysitter this weekend.
Yes. Can't wait for that. As always, thoughts with everybody in Ukraine. Hope the situation gets solved as soon as possible.
Yes, sir. Deuces.
Peace.